back to the channel. Today what I'm going to be talking about is real life versus fantasy life. And this is for all the naturals that believe in what the enhanced are saying. Now, I get people thinking that if you're a bodybuilder, then it's about the way you train. You know, they say that a lot of athletes train like bodybuilders, which they don't. Bodybuilders are always taught that cardio is really not something that they're looking forward to in order for them to gain size, because it's counterproductive. When you're trying to use a lot of cardio, you're basically using slow twitch muscle fibers. Those muscle fibers are basically your endurance muscle fibers, and they don't necessarily give you that large look. They give you a higher degree of longevity. That's what you use your slow twitch muscle fibers for. Can you think of anything that a bodybuilder would want to have the use of slow muscle fibers? Nothing. They lift weights. That's it. No type of athletic endurance is needed. All the reps are 10 to 12, which is short range. Sometimes 6 to 8, very short range. So they don't need a whole lot of endurance conditioning to do what they do. And their workouts are basically an hour. Some of them do a little bit longer than that, but the drugs are what allows them to be able to do that. Now, fast twitch muscle fibers is everything. Those are the big muscle fibers. Those are the right there in your face type muscle fibers. Those are the muscle fibers that help you, push that heavier weight. That muscle fiber that help you get to that mid-range of working out, which bodybuilders do, a mid-range type of workout. But I don't know of any sport that really requires a mid-range type of endurance. Football, even the biggest guys, they have to survive play after play before they are able to be changed out. All of the other players, running backs, quarterbacks, these people are running all the time. So that has nothing to do with bodybuilding. Track have nothing to do with bodybuilding. I get some people, who probably in love with Ashton Hall or whatever, and what he does. The guy does well for what he's doing, but the guy is enhanced. And even being more muscular, enhanced, he's still unable to beat ISO speed, a guy that's average, very, very average looking. And the only thing that he concentrates on is endurance. That's quite a bit different than bodybuilding. So let's stop thinking that bodybuilders are these Superman, Batman, these athletic type people. The more muscle you have, the less agile you're going to be. You're just not going to get that way. No pro football player looks like a bodybuilder, and he doesn't look like a bodybuilder because he's trained for conditioning in the form of endurance. Bodybuilders do not train for endurance. They train strictly for conditioning and mid-range strength. Not even big-time strength like powerlifters. Powerlifters, they train for big-time strength. The bodybuilders are mid-range of everything. They'll never be athletes unless they change their protocol. Yeah, it'll never happen. Number one, they're not going to be able to take the amount of drugs that they take And if you take a bodybuilder and you put that bodybuilder out there on the football field with all those different drugs that he's taking, he's probably going to end up with a heart attack or whatever, because his blood pressure's always off the chain. Most of them blood pressure's off the chain because of the drugs. They're not healthy people. They just have that appearance of being healthy. No matter how much you follow them, how much you wish that they were like Superman, Batman, all this other stuff, heavily muscle cartoons or whatever, that right there is not going to help you in the real world. It's a fantasy. Those guys, for what they do, is great for what they do. But don't confuse them with everyday people, everyday endurance. The drugs won't allow these guys to even be in the heat that long. So it's virtually impossible for them to be able to take that bodybuilding thing and put it into any kind of sport, because it's not made for that. No matter what they look like, how heroic they look, all that heroic muscle is only good for standing on stage and being judged by other people. That's it. That's the real life of a bodybuilder. You will not find a bodybuilder that's able to play a sport like a Bo Jackson, football, track, baseball. That's an all-around body. But he doesn't look impressive like a bodybuilder. But this guy can play any kind of sport there is. He can take any kind of heat and work out there in it. A bodybuilder can't do that simply because of all the drugs. That's what I want to talk to y'all about. If you haven't subscribed to the channel. And again, I'll be talking to you later.